So today I will be showing you how to build the extreme spinning coaster in Theme Park Tycoon 2. So of course we're going to start with selecting the coaster, and when we have selected the coaster we're going to build a small station. You can have it 3, 4, 5, it doesn't really matter. Just know that one train needs 2 stages, so 1, 2, 3, this will probably be 3 or 4 trains as you can see. I'm going to start with telling you guys what special pieces you have on this coaster. So we're going to start of course with the advanced editor. That's how we're going to make this coaster. This coaster has 3 special pieces. We have the unlock spinning, the lock spinning, and the lock and resetting spinning. The lock spinning is to lock the trains. That will mean the trains will not move from the moment it goes on that small piece. As you can see, this is how the piece looks. When it goes over here, it stops spinning. Then you have the unlock spinning. When it goes over that piece, it will of course spin again. And then we also have lock and reset spinning. This piece you will mainly use for a lounge or for the brake run. This piece will lock the spinning but also reset it so it is the same as in the station. So when you do it like in the front of your brakes, this will mean that when the trains are eventually in your station, they will be the right way around and they won't like turn extremely hard in the station. So that's when you use that. Of course I'm going to make a lounge coaster, but you can also of course make a lift hill on this coaster. So we're going to start with putting the auto smooth on yaw and pitch. We're not going to use full, and we are going to sometimes use the auto smooth option. We're going to start with a small turn going down. And let's do that the other way around. I really like this effect. You also probably seen in my coasters that I've built so far with this type. I just really like how this coaster can start. You have a lot of different starts. You can add a cobra wall or just a normal turn into a lounge or a lift hill. But I'm going to start like this. I guess we're going to put it on 25 degrees, just like this. And then we're just going to continue the turn and make sure it's going sort of straight again right here. Then 0 degrees. Now we want to get it sort of straight. It's really hard to get the coaster extremely straight, but something like this is probably good enough. And then we're going to do out the smooth option and put it of course on off and just move it a little bit to the right, so we have that small hard line in this coaster piece. As you can see, it's almost straight, definitely not perfectly straight, but good enough. What I'm then going to do, guys, get the booster. But I'm going to make the first booster so it's just 3 of these spins. Then I am going lock and reset spinning. What this will do, this will start the trains spinning. So we're going to add that. Then we're just going to add a few boosters. Just add like 4 or 5. It of course depends what you're going to do with your coaster. You can of course copy this layout, but you also can try your own layout when you know most of the stuff how it works. Then we're going to add an unlock piece again. What will now happen is the coaster will lock. It is going to try and reset, so it will be at the beginning again, but that will mean it will spin a few times. But when it spins, it will unlock again, so it just spins on the lounge. Let me show you. So the coaster will first go in this turn, so you have this really nice effect. And then when it goes over lounge, as you can see, the train starts spinning, and yeah, of course now it explodes because we don't have anything. You can add a lot of things from this point on. You can add a top hat, a looping, just almost everything. I'm probably going to do what most of the spinning coasters in real life have now, and that's a top hat, just for in the beginning. So you guys, that's probably also the easiest to do. Of course, a looping and stuff like that's maybe a little bit harder, but yeah, I'm just going to start with a top hat. So let's go up. As you can see, this is 90 degrees. I don't want to have it directly 90 degrees, but this is probably around 80 degrees, I think. What I'm then just going to do is add a turn. We're not going to use the blue button. We're just going to rotate the green one. So as you can see, that starts rotating it. And I kind of want to have it 90 degrees going up. It's quite hard to get it directly 90 degrees, so that will probably not really work. But I hope something like this seems, yeah, good enough. Then of course we're going back down again. So first let's make this straight. And what I'm going to do is add a very small block brake section. So the coaster will brake a little bit at the top just to get rid of the speed, because the coaster will go very quick when it's at the top and we don't want to have it like at the full speed going up. And of course you can also go up now and have an extra turn here. Should we actually do that? Yeah, let's do that. Well, why not? We can add a different something in here. Of course we're going to add we're going to put the auto smooth on off and add a little bit of a hard line in here. So as you can see, this is normally it. And this is with the hard line, so it just goes a little bit straight first and then it goes in the turn. So it's just a little bit more smooth and it looks a little bit better. And right now I want to have 0 degrees again, and we're going fully down like that. And I'm also going to add a little bit of the hard line like this in here. That seems alright, great. And then I think I am definitely going for like the 90-degree drop right here, something like that. And then I'm going to the move spline node just so I can really easy move this. And if you want, you can of course go in the ground. I'm not going to do that. I just want to barely hit the ground level, something like this probably, so it doesn't go through the ground. And then we're going back to the spherical minute, and let's have a test ride how it's now going to go. My tip is just test the coaster a lot, see if it makes it, if it's smooth. If not, of course change what you're doing. Don't build the full coaster and at the end like, oh wait, it didn't make it, and then you have to like change all the operations. Not everyone has the operations, so I'm not going to use the operations for this video because not everyone has it. So as you can see, it's going a little bit too quick, so I have to definitely decrease the amount of boosts. So we're going to delete this one, and let's see if it's now a little bit better. Here it goes. It should go now a little bit slower. Yeah, that looks way better. The brake is maybe a little bit too much, but I kinda like that it's going really slow. If you have, of course, the operation pass, you can definitely change this. I'm not going to do it because not everyone has this game pass and I want this to be for everyone. And then, what are we going to do? I think I want to do a looping. I think that can quite work here. Let's try to do a looping. Looping is also one of the harder inversions to add, so let me show you how I normally make them. First, we have like this piece that goes halfway. Then we have the piece that is a little smaller, but straight goes to the 90 degrees like this. And also this piece already goes very, very slightly to the left. But what you have to do is like rotate it. And never perfect, but you have to like think like, this is straight, this seems alright straight. Right now we're going to add one piece, and we're going to do it of course in a move spline node. And we're going to add, and make sure this is fully upside down, and we're going to put this on 180 degrees, so it's of course upside. And let's see if this is around. This seems good. Of course, don't forget guys to move this a little bit to the left, otherwise you will hit of course the track at the bottom. We don't want that. And then this is good enough. It's definitely not, of course, going to be perfect. If you want this to be perfect, just take your time and, of course, go a little bit more. And now you have to rotate it by yourself again. Yeah, just try to make it seem straight. And your first looping, if this is like your first thing you ever do, it's definitely not going to be perfect. As you can see, mine is also not perfect. You have to just try a lot. I'm just going for the sake of the video, just do it like this real quick. But if you want to have a good looping, take your time. Now we're going to put it on 0 degrees again, just like that. And of course move it a little bit back. And do the same pieces around here. So it is like this small piece right here. Make sure that's on 0 degrees. And then we're going straight again. Just like that. Not like that. The coaster cannot fit in here. Okay, if you don't have disable collisions, you probably have to go like a little bit like do this, and then... So as you can see, I don't have disable collisions enabled because not everyone has it, so I don't want to use it. So what will happen now is you cannot make this because the train is going in here. If you have disable collisions, you can just normally make the loop. What I have to do is actually already start turning the loop right here. It might look a little bit weird, but sadly that's just how we need to do it if you don't have disable collisions. So it will probably go around here. And it's going to start rotating a little bit. Of course, we're going to add the hard line. So just start with the turn around here. And then you can just finish the turn. Something like this. As you can see, now it works. It might look a little bit weird. Not from this side, but from this side, yeah, you can clearly see it like rotating. But that's how I'm going to do it. And I have to say, the loop actually doesn't look too bad. Let's actually see if it makes it. Let's have a look. Of course, the train is going to spin on the louch. I still really personally like that. Then we're at the top. I know it breaks quite a lot here, but I also like that you just slowly go over here. And then we have this loop. which actually looks very cool. I'm actually quite happy with that for the time I took on it. That's not bad, but yeah, that's how I make a look. Then I want to keep this layout quite compact, so I am probably going to add a turn that goes back like this. So now I'm going to tell you guys another trick on how to make a really smooth transition between pieces. So as you can see, we now want to go to the right. What I'm going to do is make it a little bit longer, go down and rotate this piece around the other side. So this was on 24 degrees, so what I'm going to do is just minus 24, just so it's like on both sides the same. And then I am going to put the auto smooth on off. What I'm then going to do is move the green dot a little bit to the right. So as you can see, you now start to have a really smooth transition. I might be going to rotate this a little bit more and make this bigger. And from that point you can just, of course, change with the rotate spline node and change a little bit of these things and just try to make it a little bit smoother. Don't go too much, otherwise it will look very weird. But I think something like that is probably good enough. And now we're just going to make a 180 degree turn. This is nothing really special. Just make sure you're not constantly going on the same level. Sometimes you see people doing turns like this and then they think, oh yeah, that looks right. Yeah, it's just not really a thing on this type of coaster. Of course, you have sometimes those coasters, but what I normally do to keep it also a little bit more spinning is just going up and down, up and down. So you of course also get some airtime on the coaster, which is very nice. And this also just looks way more fun. So maybe we're going to add a small brake run from this point. What a brake run does, for the people that don't know, you can add multiple trains with a brake run. So if you have 3 brake runs, so the station is one, this is going to be one and one at the end. If you have a chain lift, you also can enable it for a chain lift, so you can even have 3 trains or 4 trains if you of course add more block brakes. But I'm just going to add one here and of course add the one at the end, so we can have 2 trains on the track. You don't have to add this brake run if you just don't want multiple trains on this coaster. So we're going up and then we're going down, just like something. This seems alright. I want to go have this a little bit down. The things are around this. The only thing is that when I now add a block brake, it will of course slow extremely hard down because we don't have the Operation Game Pass. If you have the Operation Game Pass, slow it down and you can change the layout from this point on, because it will probably have way more speed than mine. My layout is going to be now quite short. It's probably going to be like another helix, maybe a barrel or something, and then we have to actually already go back to the station because we don't have a lot of speed anymore after this brake run. So we're going down and let's actually add a turn to the left right here. Of course, as always, you're going to add the auto smooth option, so when you're just making a turn, make sure you add the hardline in it. And what I actually might want to do now is actually already add the barrel roll, which can be very cool because of course it doesn't go all to the ground, so it's not going to be very quick. Please keep in mind, barrel rolls are extremely hard to make. It's probably for me the hardest inversion to make. They're quite rough if you do it wrong. I'm going to do it wrong because I'm not going to take half an hour on a barrel roll. But what I'm just going to do is just add some pieces that's like rotating. This is also going all the way to the other side. This is like the really quick way to do it. This is also not really a barrel, this is more becoming a 0G roll, but you get the idea. So we're going to make this go down all the way. Make this of course a little bigger, just like that. And then we're going to put the auto smooth on off. And we're going to rotate this all the way here. So as you can see, this actually starts to become quite round. And then we want to rotate this again quite back and go down. So yes, this will be alright. Definitely not perfectly smooth, but if you don't want to take half an hour on one inversion, this is your best way to do it. Now we're just going to continue with the turn, something like this. And before we continue, let's actually have a look at how the coaster goes. Let's see if it actually makes everything. I am going to say this actually does not look too bad, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's definitely not perfect, but not terrible. So let's test it and let's see if it's actually working. Alright, here we go. Of course, we know this part all works. Top hat, and then we're going very slowly, 90 degrees drop. And then we have the first looping. Then we have this transition. And as you can see, the train starts spinning a little bit. Of course, when you have the Operation Pass, you can also change the spinning and the drag and all that stuff. The only thing now is that it's going to completely stop because we don't have a station. So don't worry guys, it will not stop eventually when You have a station in place, so it's now going maybe a little bit slower through here, but that actually is not bad. So let's continue the coaster. Now we're just going to continue this turn, probably stay quite low to the ground so we can keep that speed in the train. And we're going down again so we don't hit the inversion, of course, here. And I think we will be going quite soon already to the brakes, because as you saw, we didn't have a lot of speed left. If you have the Operation Game Pass, you can add another helix or another inversion around here. You don't have to completely copy this layout. You can, of course, also try to make your own. And from this point, I am going to build it backwards. So what I'm going to do is do twice a click on the station. So you go to this point. And what I'm going to add is just some, first a really long block break, so a second train can stand on this. And I think that's mainly it, maybe just one normal break in front of here. Now we need to connect this point to this point. I'm actually going to delete the brakes from this point to this point and let's see how we're going to do that. So we want to go this up around here. This is definitely not going to be perfect, by the way, guys. You might want to make this turn a little bigger, but hey, okay, let's try to make this actually a little bit normal. And let's connect it like that. That's not terrible. What I'm going to do, as you can see, we have enough room to delete actually a really small piece, so I can delete 3 of these. So I'm going to delete all of these and just add a really small piece like this, and then we're going to add the block brakes. What I'm now going to do is, of course, go back in the building mode and select this piece, delete this one, and just make it normal. So as you can see, that's way smoother now, like that. Alright, now we have 2 trains, we have a working coaster. Let's see if everything makes it. And of course we're going to do it now in a POV mode. So we're first going to have this, the feeling that you fall out of your train, which is very cool. And then we have the launch where you actually start spinning a little bit more. I personally really like that. Then you're at the top where you're going to be slowed a little bit. And then you have this 90-degree drop straight into this loop, which actually looks pretty good. Then we have this transition into this turn, into the block brakes. We will of course slow down quite a lot here because we don't have the Operation Pass. And then we're going through this very slow. I personally quite like that you go so slow through that. And as you can see, also the other train is already going, so that's perfect. And then we just straight go into the block brakes. There is one thing you can add more at the end. If you have built this different and you want to fix this, what you're going to add is actually lock and reset spinning just before the end on a small piece like this. And then of course build from the other way, connect it like that. What now will happen is that it will start rotating back to its home position before it stops on the block brakes. And guys, that's how you build a extreme spinning coaster with 2 trains, which is quite smooth without of course disable collisions and any Operation Pass. I hope you guys have learned any from this. If you guys have still any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I am going to try and answer most of them. But yeah, as you can see, the 2 trains just work perfectly on here. This train will enter the block brake rim before it's actually on this one. So it is a good coaster. I personally quite like the layout. It's maybe not that compact, but you can definitely make, of course, it way compacter if you want. But I hope you guys have learned something from this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe on my channel, guys. And I will say, as always, goodbye.